The girl who learned to say no. Hi everyone, welcome to the Namami YouTube channel. Today's story is about a girl who was always afraid of disappointing others. She thought being a good person meant always saying yes. But when she finally learned to say no, she discovered something painful. Some people didn't love her. They loved what she did for them. Her name was Nisha. Nisha was a kind-hearted young woman living and working in Bengaluru. She was the type of person everyone could depend on. Whenever someone needed help, they called Nisha. And almost every time, her answer was yes. A colleague would say, "Nisha, can you help me finish this work?" "Yes, sure." A friend would call, "Can you come with me? I don't want to go alone." "Okay, I'll come." A relative would ask her for a favor. "Yes, I'll do it." Sometimes she was tired. Sometimes she already had plans. Sometimes she genuinely didn't want to do what they were asking. But still, she said yes. Because saying no made her feel guilty. She worried, what if they feel bad? What if they think I'm selfish? What if they stop talking to me? So she kept everyone else happy, even when it made her unhappy. At work, things became worse. Whenever someone needed help completing a task, Nisha was there. She stayed late at the office helping colleagues. She took on work that wasn't her responsibility. Sometimes, she even delayed her own work to help others. Everyone called her helpful. Everyone called her sweet. And those words made her feel good. She believed she had many friends. But slowly, Nisha started feeling exhausted. She was available for everyone. But she had no time for herself. One evening, after a long day at work, Nisha reached her apartment completely tired. She put her phone on the table and sat quietly. Her phone rang. It was one of her friends. "Nisha, can you come shopping with me?" Nisha looked at the time. She wanted to say no. She desperately wanted to rest. But automatically, she replied, "Okay, I'll come." She got ready and went out. That night, when she finally returned home, she asked herself a simple question. Why am I doing things I don't want to do? She didn't have an answer. A few days later, something happened that changed her thinking. Nisha had an important personal work to finish. She called one of the friends she had helped many times. "Can you please come with me tomorrow? I really need some help." Her friend replied, "Sorry, Nisha. I'm busy." Nisha understood. So she called another friend. That friend also had an excuse. Then another. And another. Suddenly, Nisha realized something. She had spent years being available for everyone, but when she needed someone, almost nobody was available for her. She didn't become angry, but she started thinking, maybe being kind doesn't mean sacrificing myself every time. From that day, Nisha decided to make one small change. She would still help people. She would still be kind. But she would stop saying yes when she really wanted to say no. The first opportunity came quickly. A colleague approached her. "Nisha, can you finish this part for me today?" Normally, she would immediately say yes. This time she smiled and replied, "Sorry, I have my own work to complete today. I won't be able to help." The colleague looked surprised. "Oh, okay." Nisha immediately felt guilty. Her mind started racing. Was I rude? Should I go back and help? But she stopped herself. She had not insulted anyone. She had simply said no. Slowly, she started doing the same in her personal life. If she was tired, she rested. If she already had plans, she didn't cancel them just to please somebody else. If someone asked for something she wasn't comfortable doing, she politely refused. For the first time in years, Nisha started choosing herself too. But something unexpected happened. Some people started changing. A few friends stopped calling as often. Some colleagues who used to talk to her every day suddenly became distant. A relative even told her, "You've changed." Those words hurt. Because Nisha had changed, but not in the way they thought. She had simply stopped saying yes to everything. Within a few months, Nisha's circle became much smaller. At first, she felt lonely. She wondered if learning to say no had been a mistake. But then she noticed something important. The people who remained in her life didn't disappear when she said no. They respected her time. They didn't make her feel guilty for having boundaries. They called her even when they didn't need anything. They celebrated her happiness. And when Nisha needed help, they were there. That was when she finally understood. Losing people isn't always a loss. Sometimes, when you stop doing everything for everyone, you discover who actually values you. Months later, Nisha was sitting peacefully in a cafe with one of her closest friends. Her friend smiled and said, "You've changed a lot." Nisha laughed. A year ago, those words would have scared her. But this time she smiled and replied, "I know. I used to think saying no made me a bad person. But now I understand something. I can be kind to others, without being unfair to myself. Moral of the story: being a good person doesn't mean saying yes to everything. You can help people, you can love people, you can care deeply about them. But you are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to protect your time. You are allowed to choose yourself sometimes. And most importantly, you are allowed to say no without feeling guilty. If someone leaves your life simply because you stopped doing everything they wanted, maybe they weren't attached to you. Maybe they were attached to what you were doing for them. The right people may not always agree with your boundaries, but they will respect them. So don't be afraid if your circle becomes smaller. Sometimes, a smaller circle brings a more peaceful life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the Namami YouTube channel. See you in the next story.